This video is intended to be a brief explanation of the installation of the EPEQ electrified power equipment system components using the Anderson type connectors. Before operating any piece of equipment, please adhere to all safety and warning labels provided in your operation manual. How the EPEQ system will be used and choosing the best location to install it are important considerations when planning your EPEQ system installation. Some components are more susceptible to vibration and the elements like rain, cold weather, or hot temperatures, while others are better suited for adverse conditions. All parts of the EPEQ system use electricity, so proper care should be taken to protect them from becoming wet and exposed to adverse environments. The EPEQ system is comprised of several main pieces of electric-powered equipment. The main components in EPEQ systems are as follows: the element battery, shore power charger, the EPEQ Air 20 air compressor, a 12-volt to 48-volt DC converter, a 48-volt to 12-volt DC converter, an EPEQ Level 2 EV charger, an inverter 3000, an inverter 5000, and an EPEQ inverter 6000. The EPEQ system makes use of the Anderson type connector wherever possible to aid in the convenient, secure connection and disconnection of EPEQ equipment without tools. These connections are color-coded to match other connectors of the same size and color for easy identification. Refer to your user's manual under System Basics for further explanation of how to use these connections. Please refer to the connection diagrams and installation instructions located in your user's manual when connecting your equipment. While your EPEQ equipment may be installed in various configurations in your vehicle, the element battery needs to be installed in a clean, dry environment. Choose a location protected from the elements or other harsh conditions. Mounting brackets are attached to the base of the battery to allow fixed and permanent installations onto sturdy, flat surfaces using 4 M8 bolts or screws. Make sure all pin connections are secured on the element battery. Be sure that the Anderson connections are locked in place and nothing is loose. Tug on the connections. If they are loose or come out, secure them by pushing in the connection until you hear them click into place. Check the shore power charging connections as well as the Y cable connections. Be sure to check that the Anderson cables with the black heat shrink wrap match up with the black heat shrink wrap on the corresponding cable. Connect the Y cable to the element battery. It does not matter which Anderson connector on the element battery you connect the Y cable to first. The shore power charger is 120-volt input converting 48-volt output, which operates off of a standard 120-volt AC grounded outlet. The unit comes with a matched power output cable and Anderson type connector and is ready to connect to the element battery for reliable charging. Status indicator lights are located on the side of the shore power charger. The status of these indicators can be found in the EPEQ installation guide under Shore Power Figure 1-3. Again, be sure to turn off any electrical equipment prior to connecting any EPEQ components. The EPEQ DC to DC converter or charger is a 12-volt input to 48-volt 20-amp output. Connect the shore power cable to one end of the Y cable and the converter or charger to the other. Refer to diagram 1-5 in your installation guide. Connect the battery cable from the smart controller's main harness to the element battery. The converter or charger has a controller area network or CAN bus safety connector. This cable will be connected to the charger safety on your harness. Connect the DC to DC converter or charger to the breaker 12-volt signal harness. The breaker 12-volt signal will be connected to the vehicle's battery via the ring terminals that are supplied by the kit. Red stripe is positive. The timer relay harness looks like this. You have your relay, a wake connection, your auxiliary wake, and your 12-volt bus bar. On the far end of the harness, you will have a yellow and black wire that will connect to the 12-volt outsource as well. Using an optional 10-foot male and female wire extension, connect your wake connection from your timer relay harness to the wake connection on your battery harness. Connect the EPEQ Smart Controller display to the main harness. Connect the EPEQ Air 20 compressor to the element battery. Connect the control harness for the compressor coming from the display to the 6-pin connector on the Air 20. On the element battery side, connect the Air 20 to the open Anderson connector. Connect your nylon tubing or signal line to the Air 20. This will be a push-in fitting. Push in securely to lock into place. The other end of this line will attach to your air reservoir tank, depending on its location. This needs to be located on the top side of the tank, away from your air drain and service valve. Push in to securely lock into place. From the air discharge side of the air reservoir tank, your air tank will have a check valve, either supplied by Vanair or yourself. Connect your discharge hose. Tighten securely. On the Air 20 compressor side, connect the other end of your discharge hose and secure it tightly. Remove the 4 screws on the access panel to gain access to the internal connections of the 5000 EPEQ inverter. All cable connections will be pre-assembled by Vanair prior to receiving your inverter. If a cable is damaged or needs to be replaced, this is the area you would make these repairs on those connection points. Your orange DC input cables to your element battery are located here and are stamped positive and negative. You have a ground jumper that runs from the negative to the grounding location on the top row. You also have your AC output that is located on bottom left. Refer to figures 1-13, 14, and 15 in the EPEQ installation guide. Refer to your install guide for the electrical power requirements needed for the charger. Most frequently, a circuit breaker panel is installed in the vehicle for this requirement. Mobile 240-volt AC power can be achieved for the EPEQ EV charger by pairing it with 2 EPEQ Inverter 5000 units, powered by 2 element 48-volt batteries. Using the male and female cables, connect the parallel communication connection harnesses from the first 5K inverter to the parallel communication connection on the second 5K inverter. Securely tighten. Connect the right signal sharing port wire on the first inverter to the right signal port on the second inverter. Connect the left current wire from the first inverter to the left current port on the second 5000 inverter. Securely tighten. From each AC output connectors on the 5K inverters, connect these to each of the cables on the breaker panel. one for each 5000 inverter. Again, make sure all connecting pins are not damaged. Your EV Level 2 charger cable will plug into the 240-volt outlet on the breaker panel. To streamline your install connection points, an optional Power Distribution Module, or PDM kit, is available. You will use a Y cable splitter connecting the first 5000 inverter, then the second. You will then connect one Anderson connector to the first PDM input. Use another Y cable connector to join the two element batteries together. Connect the other end to the optional PDM. Use the battery splitter harnesses that has two females 6-pin connectors and join the two element batteries. The male end will attach to the smart controller display harness. The 48-volt to 12-volt DC to DC converter is a 60-amp output in order to convert the 48-volt DC output from the element battery to a 12-volt DC output that can be used by various 12-volt DC accessories and tools. The connection point on the backside has the ground and positive connection point. Using your Anderson connector and either through your Power Distribution Module or PDM or a Y cable adapter, connect this directly to your element battery. You will then be pulling 48-volt output, converting to 12-volt usable power. The Inverter 3000 is a pure sine wave, high-frequency inverter designed to provide single-phase 120-volt AC power output from a 48-volt DC source input. This is most frequently used for charging batteries for power tools. Take the Anderson connector on the 3000 inverter and connect it to the Anderson connector on the element battery. There is an optional extension harness depending on how far away the element battery is located. You will connect the other end into the element battery or the optional PDM. The Inverter 6000 is a low-frequency DC to AC power inverter designed to take our element's 48-volt output and converting it to 120 or 240-volt AC output. Prior to installing, refer to your installation manual for proper dip switch settings on the end of the 6000 inverter. Also, you have additional locations where you can run 120-volt or 240-volt remote-mounted receptacles tied into this location. Again, refer to your manual for further information. Connect the Anderson connector to the Elements connector, and using an optional harness extension, connect the other end to the element battery or optional Power Distribution Module, or PDM. This concludes the installation of the EPEQ Electrified Power Equipment System components using the Anderson-type connectors.